Season 2 is upon us and we are still in a job at United. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Saving United, the YouTube series where we are trying to take Man United back to the top of European football. I'm very, very pleased to be here because there were points during last season where we were genuinely looking like we could be losing our job, and we managed to pull it back towards the end of the season and get ourselves into a European spot. Now, if you are wondering why that's such a big deal, because we had a bit of a chaotic last sort of 2-3 games of the season where everyone around us was dropping points. I mean, we finished 7th and we were only 11 points behind Arsenal, who won the league. So that's how tight it was going into the last game of the season. We could have finished anywhere from like 9th to 4th on the last day of the season. We finished in 7th. We won our game, but we didn't really know what that meant because Liverpool finished behind us in like 9th or something like that. And they won the FA Cup and then won the UEFA Cup, which is the Europa League. So they would get a Champions League spot. Now I'll bring you back now because we're kind of looking and going, right, we're getting set up for the new season. We've got the Premier Division TV money in, £12 million. The board want success both domestically and in Europe. So we're going to have to step our game up from last year. We're starting with Arsenal away, of course, Everton at home and Aston Villa away. That's fine. And we are playing in the Intertoto Cup, which is something that we were invited to apply for. Now, I think from some very limited and brief research that this essentially means we play a few rounds of this tournament and then get into the UEFA Cup, which is the Europa League, which, I mean, realistically, we could have a good season in. Yeah, we're in the Intertoto Cup. Brighton, Chelsea and Liverpool got in the UEFA Cup. So despite Liverpool finishing 2 spots below us, they took our UEFA Cup spot because of their performance in the FA Cup and the UEFA Cup. Arsenal, City, Crystal Palace, who finished in 3rd, and Newcastle make up those Champions League spots. One of our scouts just had a shock retirement, apparently. So money has come in. We've got 19.75 million to spend currently. And I say currently because we've organised some more transfers out. We knew about Ahmad going out, but we have also sold Andre Onana to Atalanta, I should say, for £1.9 million, and Rasmus Højlund is going to go to Napoli for £14.75 million, meaning we're bringing in an extra £29.5 million into the club coffers. I'm hoping that we get to see that because that will give us a very, very hefty transfer budget to start signing some players. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I mean, plans for the squad this season. We're looking. I think we also I think we sold Beardiola as well. He's not showing as a future transfer. Yes, yeah, we sold Beardiola as well, backup goalkeeper, and I'll explain why. The £2.3 million. How the squad's currently sort of looking, it's very, very similar to last season. I have brought a few players up from the reserves, Radek Vitek being one of them, because he is a backup goalkeeper who just looks like a backup goalkeeper for United. Last season he was on loan at Bristol City, didn't play. I've kind of taken the opportunity to move him up to be backup for Lamans. Hopefully he doesn't have to play, and that means we can ship out by India, one, to bring in some money, free up some wages, but also because we had that rule about the foreign players, and sometimes I had to choose between having no goalkeeper on the bench because he's foreign, and it would mess with like Lissandro Martinez couldn't play as many games and things like that because you can only have 3 in the squad, and we had 4 in our total squad. So that should help that out unless we sign any more foreign players. We're keeping the likes of Aiden Heaven around. We're keeping the likes of Yoa around, who didn't play a lot last year, but we might try and blood him into the first team a little bit more because he's starting to look like a little bit of a beast. Aiden Heaven progressing really, really nicely too. Other players that we have promoted, Toby Collier. Now, United fans in real life, I believe, are quite excited about this lad, and you can kind of see why. 22 years old, he was on loan at West Brom last season, didn't really play, but boy did he develop. They were doing something at West Brom. He's either footed as a holding midfielder, which is pretty good. He could be a natural replacement for like a Casemiro in the squad. His tackling's great. Technically, he looks fantastic. He's quick. He can pass. His positioning's good. Dribbling's good. Decision making, creativity. He could be a really, really good player for us. He's going to have to fight out with Onana and Ugarte and probably Casemiro for a spot. But does that mean we could sell Ugarte maybe and free up some more funds? I don't know. We're going to look at keeping James Scanlon around. He did do pretty well last season, scoring 2 goals and 2 assists in only 3 starts and 8 appearances off the bench. So fair play to him. He is still only 19. Jack Fletcher is another one that we promoted. Darren Fletcher's son. He wasn't on loan last season, but at the end of the season, I just kind of looked through at the reserves just to see what was going on, and he looks good again, and only 19. So I don't think he'll be a regular starter, but he will certainly get some game time as and when we can afford that. He will certainly be able to help out in maybe some of like the lower level European games, or maybe even like in the early rounds of the League Cup. I want to be able to give him some form of football. Chido Obi will be kept around as well because another one that's just really, really developed. I mean, he hasn't played for Denmark yet, but he's even gone to the World Cup with Denmark after only scoring 1 goal in 10 appearances last season. But he could be one that could break into the side this year or next year. And the only other new face so far, I say new face, he was a player that was already at the club but just out on loan, is Marcus Rashford. He's come back from his loan to Barcelona. And if you remember, at the start of this series, I kind of said I want to build like that British core of players. I want to give pathways for the academy players, as well as maybe bringing in a few sort of stars in and around them. And he's an academy boy. He's a British boy. He didn't really get to play a lot at Barcelona, but he did get 8 goal involvements in 9 starts and 8 off the bench, which isn't too bad. So we're going to give him a shot to revitalise his career. Is that the right word for Marcus Rashford? Does he need revitalising? Probably. And then, yeah, we're just going to see what happens in the market, really. I'm going to try and bring some players in. So this episode is going to be a bit of a transfer special. And I suppose I'll just bring you back as and when these deals happen. I mean, 1st of July is when we're going to have another 30 million come into the club so far with the deals that we've already made for players to leave. So, yeah, I suppose we'll bring you back there and assess the transfer kitty situation. Okay, so we're at the 1st of July now. We just had a transfer bid coming for Xerxes of 7.75 million, and I mean, I've decided to negotiate it because although he played a lot, he only scored 8 goals last season, and we kind of got Rashford back in the squad, haven't we? And I think looking round at some of the bids that I've been putting in, there could be some better strikers potentially coming into the club than Xerxes. So I'll be happy to negotiate it. I think 7.75 is a little bit low considering he's a starting striker. We have released a couple of youngsters. Dan Gore has gone, as has Agunai. They've both been released on a free. We've had confirmation that Ahmad has joined Lazio for 12.75 million. Frankfurt have signed Ollie Watkins, which is a player that I probably missed out on a little bit. I didn't notice, but he did go to Man City. So he played 5, scored 5 for Villa, then went to Man City for £12 million. They played him 4 times and then sold him to Frankfurt for 2.9. So not great business from Man City. And if I'd have only seen and spotted that, I would have probably swooped in and got him in because he kind of fits the bill for what we're looking for as a striker. Napoli are doing lots and lots of business at the moment. They've gone and signed John Duran for 12.25 million, which means that, unfortunately, they do not have enough money to pay us the 14 odd million they were going to for Rasmus Højlund. So he, for me, is still up for transfer. So we are going to transfer list him, say he's not needed. I don't think we'll get the 14 million now, but we might be looking at more like 10. They've signed Darwin Núñez as well, so they're going mad for strikers. That is a new club record incoming, £14.5 million, which is kind of frustrating because the Højlund deal would have doubled that. Confirmation we put Højlund up for sale. The likes of Barcelona and Al Hilal are going to be interested in him. I just don't know. He didn't really play last season. Scored 9 in 13 appearances. I think a lot of these appearances were off the bench. He's not for me, ladies and gents. That's what I'm trying to say. That has given us a pretty hefty transfer budget of just shy of 40 million. And bear in mind that this is Champman 0102. You'll see like players aren't valued as high as what you might think they are. So we've finally got some money to spend. We might have more money to spend as players leave. I'm looking at Xerxes. I'm looking at Højlund. We're going to just keep making little bids here and there. In fact, I'll probably tell you who I've got bids in for if it will allow me to. Does it have like a potential transfers, future transfers in? Yeah. We made an offer for Harry Kane. You can see we're looking at strikers at the moment. We've made an offer for Harry Kane, 32 years old, scored loads of goals for Bayern last year, but he's in the last year of his contract, and I'm just wondering if we can maybe tempt them. We've offered them £1 million more than what he's worth. I don't think he would be too interested in signing for us. But you never know, do you? Stranger things have happened. We're very, very keen on Matteo Joseph, another striker. English, was out on loan last season at Mallorca and was the second highest goal scorer in the league with 27 league goals for Mallorca. So I'm very, very interested in him. And then Can Uzun kind of fits the bill for us as one of those young, hungry players that United would always look at signing. And he just looks absolutely fantastic. Had a decent season for Frankfurt last year, and I think he could be a great understudy to Bruno Fernandes for a season or two before becoming his replacement in that number 10 role. And then there's the negotiation for Joshua Xerxes. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And I suppose I'll bring you back when anything happens and we see some movement in this transfer market. Right, a bit more movement in this transfer market. We actually did agree a deal for Harry Kane with Bayern Munich, and it was about 7.5 million in the end. But he's rejected the move to Bayern Munich because he's very happy with his role at Bayern Munich. But Bayern Munich have just signed Nicholas Jackson, Datro Fofana, Patrick Schick, and Schick scored 30 goals last season and signed for 11 million and is a younger model. So I'll be surprised if he is still as happy as he's saying he is at Bayern Munich once he sees that these lads might be playing above him. So that's one move that happened. We are also chasing Archie Gray. I like him just purely for versatility. I know he's played just about every position under the sun for Spurs in real life. But I really like him. He didn't play a massive amount last season, but he had a decent season. He's had an England cap already, and I kind of feel he could play 4, maybe even 5 of the roles that we're currently using with our diamond. So yeah, I think we're going to still push for Archie Gray. Maybe just make a little bit of a improved bid. I'm kind of thinking with him, he would cover 3 or 4 different spots, which means that we could offload 2 or 3 players, maybe 2, and that would kind of warrant us paying a little bit more for him. We have got rid of Xerxes. He has gone to Newcastle for 10 million. We have got rid of Hoyland, who has gone to Barcelona for 13.5, which means that our transfer budget is now 42 million, and we have a whopping 60 million in the bank. So we could spend a little bit more than that 42 million, I suppose. That's kind of where we're at the moment. There's still a few bids flying around for some players. Hopefully we get to sign a couple of them soon and really improve on this squad and see where we go with it, really, and how we end up. We have made our first signing of the second season, and it is Rory McConville from Norwich for £2.3 million. Now, this player was brought up to my attention through one of the scouts that we sent out just to look at the UK and Ireland, and he kind of fits the bill for a good United player for me. What I mean by that is he's young, he's British, Northern Ireland international, although he only played, 6 times for Norwich last season, and he was listed for loan by them. He has got 13 caps for Northern Ireland at the age of 21. So that for me is a sign that he could be a good player. The scouts are raving about him, and you can kind of see why. As a centre-back, he's got the heading, he's got the marking, he's got the tackling, that sort of holy trinity for me. But he's also got strength, a little bit of pace, he's decent on the ball as well. So there's a lot to like about him. We have put him straight into the senior squad. I don't think that he is enough for us to maybe look at moving on some of like the likes of maybe Martinez or Aidan Heaven. But he certainly gives us a good option for maybe like a fifth or sixth choice centre back, someone to play in the cups alongside Aidan Heaven maybe, or if we did just get a bid for maybe like Alessandro Martinez, we might be a bit more tempted to move him on, knowing that we've got Rory McConville as our 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth choice if that was the case. So yeah, I don't think it's too bad a signing. It's a very cheap signing for us, but again, I think he's one that we could develop into something of a useful squad player to have. We've just had our draw for the third round of the Intertoto Cup. Remember, this is the competition that I think we have to play a few rounds in to qualify for the UEFA Cup. And we're going to be playing Olympiakos Nicosia, who I believe are Cypriot. Yeah, this is a Cypriot team. It's a 2-legged affair. We're going to be playing the first leg in a week's time. So we you never know, we might squeeze that into this episode. So yeah, I think that's going to be a fairly straightforward tie. I might show you it, I might not, depending how we get on with time. But yeah, we'll go with the flow on that one. Diogo Costa is a player that we're also trying to sign, not the former Chelsea striker, but the Porto goalkeeper. I just thought he was cheap enough to maybe put a bid in for, probably to start as our starting goalkeeper. But I've got up to 6 million and they're still not accepting it. And Lamins didn't have too bad a season, so we'll probably not pursue that one any longer. All right, I am going to give you the Intertoto Cup games, and it's going to be squad selection time. I think what you're going to see, maybe a slightly rotated sort of squad, maybe just because I'm looking at some of the fitness of the players, and I think that the majority of the players that we would potentially pick should be good enough to see us through. So we're going to play McConville and Euro. I'm basically looking at fitness here and just picking the players that are most fit to play in each position. Manuel Ugarte is unhappy. He wants to be paid what he deserved. He didn't play a lot last season. He's paid pretty handsomely, I'd say. But he is going to start this one alongside... I'll tell you what, potentially he's going to start alongside Bruno Fernandes. And maybe we do Cunha, Rashford, and Mbeumo. And that's a fairly strong starting lineup, I'd suggest. We'll put some players onto the bench that we might want to have a little look at, like Collier, for example. Kobe Mainu can go on. Jack Fletcher, we might want to have a little look at, and we'll chuck Chido Obi on because He's got a lot of interest in him at the moment. We're turning down bids of sort of around 6 million for him now. Bearing in mind he's only valued at 2.7 million. So there is obviously a shout that he might get some game time this year. We'll hand out some of these. We'll give Toby Collier can be 14, McConville 16, Fletcher 17. I'm going to save. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give Rashford number 11. I'm going to save number 9, just in case we bring in a striker. But let's play this game. I'd imagine it should be fairly straightforward. We're sticking with that narrow diamond for now. That may change as we start to build a squad. But I'm hoping this should be a fairly straightforward game. And Buemo's got the opener for us. Agate's gone and scored. Yeah, this should be a rout, really. Yeah, they're all getting in on the act now. Should be a rout. It's a bit of a nothing game, really, this. There's a few players, probably Collier, Fletcher and Obi, that I want to have a little look at here. And I think we're just going to bring them at half time. We're 4-0 up. I don't think we've got too much to worry about in terms of this result now. So let's bring on the kids. Let's have a look at them. Fletcher for Cunha, just like for like. Cheeto Obi can come on for probably Mbuemo. We'll have a little look at Rashford as well. This is what I mean by creating that pathway. Collier has developed really, really nicely. Fletcher's developing really nicely, as is Obi. So we're going to give them the game time. You know, we're trying not to sign players that are going to maybe block their pathway as such. If players do come in, it's got to be someone they can maybe learn from or play alongside. But at the same time, we do need to strengthen a lot. Rashford's just got his goal. Made it 5-1. Bruno Fernandes has made it 6. And this really does take the pressure off for us to maybe have a look at more players in the second leg. Obi makes it 7-1. And I mean, it's an absolute rout, really, isn't it? They've had 1 shot, 1 on target and scored 1. We've had 18 shots on target. That's the most dominant I think I've ever seen us be. And I am under no illusions that is down to the standard of the opposition. I've decided not to bother showing you the second leg of the game against Nicosia because we were 7-1 up. We have won that 1-0 away from home. Not as emphatic as the first leg. Patrick Dorgu, who was actually captain for the day, got himself a goal in the 4th minute to secure that win for us. And we gave out game time again to McConville, Yoro, Collier, Obi played, Jack Fletcher also started. So again, we just completely used it as a chance just to give the youngsters a bit of a taste of European football and just try to bed them into that squad a little bit more. The semi-final draw has been made for the Intertoto Cup, and we're going to be playing 2 legs against Bodo Glimt. Anyone who watched the Champions League in real life this year will know that could be quite a tricky one for us. But again, I do think that we just got enough just to squeeze over the line against them. Hopefully, it shouldn't be too much of a difficult one. I expect us to breeze through the Intertoto Cup, so I probably won't bother showing you any of that. I'll just keep you updated with the results unless it's going to be a tight one after the first leg. But yeah, if you don't hear from me on that, you know that we've progressed really. Right guys, we're actually getting to the start of the playing season now for season 2, and not a lot's really happening in the transfer market, which is very, very frustrating. All the big names I kind of had targeted moved before we had our transfer budget come in. So we still got about 42 million to spend. I think it's going to be time to end the episode there. Otherwise, I'm just finding myself just staring at a same list of players. I have got some bids in. We're going to come back at the start of the next season to play the Arsenal game. And hopefully, as the season progresses, we get to spend some of that money and improve on the squad. If you have enjoyed it, please do like, please do subscribe. And of course, until I see you next time, take care.